Hello, happy Friday, friends. I am going to jump on today and we are going to talk about brushes and that your brushes do matter. So as you're jumping on, say hi. I hope you guys are having a good day. If you don't know who I am, my name is Lauren. I love helping women over the age of 40 learn to love their skin again by teaching simple makeup tips and tricks for you guys. I've had a lot of questions lately. Hi. I have had a lot of questions lately in my DMs and on my reels asking me about brushes and why they matter, and if I would go through and kind of explain my favorite brushes and why I love them. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I am an artist for Seint, so if you aren't sure what Seint makeup is, it's a one compact system. So all my makeup is right here and I have it on right now. So you are more than welcome to get a free color match from me as well. Yes, my flu is gone. I am feeling so much better. I still feel congested, but it's nothing like before. So I'm so glad to be back. I missed my live with you guys last week, and so we are back. We're back in business. All right, so let's talk about brushes. Like I said, one of the biggest things is I do free color matches, which I just showed you with my one compact makeup. So I think that women over the age of 40 should be wearing cream makeup. The reason I think that is because I feel like it just lays so nicely on the skin. And if you have more texture on your skin, or if you feel like you have a lot of dryness or anything like that and makeup just isn't working for you, cream makeup to me is going to be a game changer. It has been for my skin. So I share about that. So the brushes that I show you today are going to be more for cream makeup, but I will address liquid in case you're using that. Stella is good. I'm sorry. Someone said they were sick in bed with bronchitis. I'm so sorry. I hope you feel better. Being sick is the absolute worst. It's crazy when you're sick how you don't realize how important your health is. That's how I felt with the flu. I was just like, man, like I know that my health is important, but when you just don't feel yourself, you realize how much more important your health is. So I hope you feel better. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you a lot of Seint brushes and really explaining what brushes I like from Seint. One thing I want to talk about before I start is there is a lot of women doing makeup tutorials on all sorts of social media platforms. So when you are listening to advice, just make sure that you're taking into account a couple of things. You're taking into account your skin type. You're taking into account what kind of coverage you like. So if you're watching someone and they're putting a lot of makeup on and they are a full coverage gal and you are not, and their favorite brush is A, B, and C, you just have to be really careful that you are making sure that what you're choosing is right for your skin. And a lot of things on camera aren't what they seem to be. So that's why we're going to break down brushes, okay? Aw, Jen, I love you too. You're so sweet. Okay, so when you get a color match from me, I do send an email to you and I kind of break down my top 3 favorite brushes. But I also realize, like what I just said, that my favorite brushes might not be your favorite brushes. So let's talk about why I love my brushes that I recommend and why you might like them or something else. So with cream makeup, denser brushes are going to be your friend. So if you decide you want to use cream makeup and you're not, thank you, and you're not using one of Seint's brushes, you need to make sure that you have a dense brush. And when I say that, I'm just gonna pick up the brush. This is our buff brush. So the buff brush from Seint is our densest brush. And when it's dense like that, you're gonna get a really full coverage look. So the more dense the bristles, the more full coverage you're going to get. The more soft and farther apart the bristles are, like this, see how I can move those? This means you're going to get a lighter coverage. So the first thing you want to assess is what kind of coverage do I want? And then if you don't buy a brush specifically for cream and you are going to use one from your arsenal that you might already have, you need to look at the bristles. If you want to get the cream makeup that I sell and that I'm an artist for the company, all you have to do is fill out my free color match form. It's linked in my bio, or I'm actually going to post this video and I'm going to put it in my bubbles, and I will link all of these brushes, but I will also post it on my page so you can just comment me for a free color match. Okay. So now that we have kind of looked at the bristles, it's really important to understand full versus light coverage. So if you hear someone say that they want a full coverage is basically this this right here, this is gonna pack on a lot more than something like this. So if I go into my makeup and I use a brush like this, I'm gonna get a I'm gonna get more makeup because the bristles are tighter together versus something like this, you're not going to get as full of a coverage. No, unfortunately, Seint is only in the US and Canada. Okay, currently. I say currently because hopefully that will change. All right, so let's talk brushes. So I will be 42, you guys, in 2 weeks. So I'm gonna claim that I'm 42. I am so big about like just going with the flow and just accepting what is. So I will be 42 in 2 weeks. So we're just gonna claim I'm 42. So my absolute favorite brush is this detailed brush. And I'm gonna explain to you why. My brushes are so dirty, I apologize, but I wanna just get on and get this done and show you guys. And so I didn't clean them. So I'm gonna show you, let's see, I'm gonna show 4 of the Seint brushes, and I'm gonna talk to you about coverage and which ones I like the most. Okay, so if you are a light coverage girl, meaning you don't wear a lot of makeup, you don't want a lot of makeup on the face, this one right here, this is the blend brush. This might be your best friend. The reason this is gonna be your best friend is because the bristles are very far apart. You can see me kind of playing with that and pulling it kind of apart. This isn't gonna put a lot of makeup on your face. The other side as well is very small, so it's gonna be great for going on like nose contour if you want to, or under the eyes. So if you're using a double-ended brush like this, it's really good to know what are the ends for. A lot of times people get their brushes and they're like, what are these ends for? Like, what do I use this side for, or this side? So this is gonna be to get those smaller areas of your face, especially as you mature. If you've noticed that there's more hollowing under the eyes, or some of our features of our face are a little bit harder to get into, using a smaller brush is okay, you guys. And so that's why I do like this one if you like a lighter coverage. This is a blend brush. I will link all of these, okay? Next, the next in line for coverage is this buff brush, okay? So the buff brush is great. I use this for bronzer. I use it for blush, but you can actually use this for your foundation color if you're using cream, or you'd probably use it for liquid. I just don't use liquid. So this one you can see is very fluffy. It's very soft, and the bristles are very far apart. So you're going to get a very light coverage with this one. This side is a little bit more dense, and so I like to use this brush. I use this side with my foundation. Now, the benefit of using something like this is if you are in a hurry, this is going to really get a larger area of your face covered quicker than something like this, right? Because look at the difference in size. So if you're one of those mamas, or you're a person in general that's like, I don't have a lot of time, I just want to get this makeup on my face, I want to get out, this might be your best friend, and this can do foundation, blush, bronzer, all the things. Now, is it going to be harder to get a nose contour with something like this, or to get under the eyes? Yes. So keep that in mind if you want to try this brush and you want to use it for your all over coverage, that some of those smaller areas might just be a little bit harder to get to. All right, now we're going to go into my detail brush. This is my absolute favorite one. If you get a color match from me, I'm going to suggest this one. I'll get messages all the time. This is my go-to, and the reason this is my go-to is for a couple reasons. You can see on this brush, it's kind of like, not angled, but it's thinner right here, but it's very dense at the same time, but not as dense as something like this. So it's gonna give me a really nice medium coverage. I don't like a really full coverage for myself. I like to still look natural, but I like to look like I'm actually wearing makeup. So that's how I explain this brush. I feel like it's a really good way to get a good medium coverage to even full, because you can build with this one because it is more dense. The other thing I like about the detail brush is, see how it has this nice kind of flat surface? You can pinch this to get a really nice contour. So if you struggle with contour, this could be your best friend too. The other feature I love is this small end. The reason I love the small end is, like I talked about before on the blend brush, is getting under these eyes. I've noticed as I'm getting older, this area is more hollowed. I can't go in with something like this and really get the coverage I want. Plus, even with my eyesight, sometimes I can't see what I'm doing. So this one is really great, and the tapping motion with this one really packs that product into your skin, but it still gives you a nice skin-like finish. So the detail brush is my absolute favorite. Okay, and I'm not gonna go into the 3D hack brush, which a lot of you have if you bought the Black Friday collections. It's just not my favorite. And I only show things on here that are my favorite. It's an okay one. It's not one that I don't feel like I love it enough to talk about it. So that's why I'm not going to address that one. Unless you guys have questions or you own that one, we can talk about the different sides of it too. This is the buff brush. So this one to me, if you're like me and you like a medium to light coverage, oh, I will get to that one. That's a great question about the setting powder. If you like a medium, or if you like a heavier coverage, or let's say you're getting your family pictures done, this is an amazing brush for that. This one gives you almost like a flawless filtered look. It's also 40% off right now, you guys. So I like to talk about this one in the fact of there is a really good time and place for that one. So for example, I was on Good Morning America. I used this brush. The reason I use this brush is it gives me such a filtered look. It's gonna pack on more product, so I'm not gonna have, you know, as much skin maybe showing through, even though creams are very skin-like in general. But this one is gonna give a really nice filtered look. Now, if you notice, I'm gonna be tapping with this one. If I swipe with this one, this isn't gonna work for you. So you're gonna tap, and you can also notice it's not gonna kind of cover a large area. So you are gonna need a little more patience with this one. But what I love about this is it's an angled brush, so you can see that angle. So it's great for contour because you can get right up in that area that you want to contour. This side, which is smaller, is great for your nose contour. And I love this one under your eyes. Can you see how that just fits right under my eyes? So this one is a really good alternative. And if you haven't tried Seint brushes and you want to try one and you like a medium to full coverage, you want to grab this one because it's actually on sale right now. And my link for that is in my bio if you want to know, or you can message me. But I do kind of go in between these a lot. This one's always in my arsenal because I'll use it for blush or for bronzer. You can also use this one for powder. Someone just asked me about powder. So we have a powder brush. Seint has a powder brush. I don't use it, so I'm not going to really kind of address that one. Like I said, I only talk about things that I absolutely love and use. And I just have never found success with that one. So you can use powder. If you're using a loose powder, this one's great. If you're using something like Seint's setting powder that's in our palette, it's small. So getting something like this into it can be a little bit difficult. So I'm gonna show you another brush for that. Okay, so those are the Seint brushes I love. Let me quickly just show you the eyeshadow brush that I love and the spot brush from Seint. And then I wanna talk about I wish I could make house calls. I actually want to start doing a once a month makeup class that you guys anyone can come to and hopefully learn some tips and tricks. So I'll keep you updated. It's on the works. I just haven't got there yet. So we're going to talk about eyeshadow brushes. So if you have hooded eyes, this is a really good one that I want you to kind of watch because I get that question a lot. But I want to go into the Seint brushes and then kind of talk about BK Beauty brushes because I love them. So this is our Seint eyeshadow brush. Okay. Oh, thank you so much. I've had a couple of you ask about my eyes. I have on Butterscotch, and then I have Zion, I have Crush, and Soulmate. So that it's a kind of a fun combo. I've actually don't think I've ever worn them together, but I like how they turned out. So, okay. This is the eyeshadow brush from Seint. So all of Seint's brushes are double-ended. So the benefit of having a double-ended brush versus something like this is that you are working with one tool versus multiple tools, okay? And we'll go into that in just a minute. So if you are really simple, these double-ended brushes are gonna be great for you because you don't need 1,000 brushes. I have so many brushes because I work on clients and then I also, do this full time. And so I have a lot of brushes, but they take up a lot of space. So getting a double-ended brush is actually really great. But this eyeshadow brush right here, so this is a fluffy end and this is our pencil end. So what I love about this is it's giving you two different brushes for your eyes. The downfall to this one is if you have hooded eyes, so for me it's gonna work well, but look how big that fluffy side is. So if you have a hooded eye, this one can be a little bit more difficult to work with because it's a little bit bigger. You can use the pencil end to get into the hood, but to blend, this one's gonna be a little bit harder. So you wanna make sure that you're thinking about your eye shape, you guys. So many of us want these beautiful eye looks, but you've got to use the right tool. So I love this one, but it also depends on the shape of your eyes and the size of your eyes, okay? I will come back in just a minute to my favorite eye brushes, okay? But I want to show you this one. So this is our spot brush from Demi. Demi is a color correcting line that Seint has. A lot of you have tried it and hopefully loved it. I use it and I've done some videos on it. But if you are trying Demi, this is my favorite brush. Now, I am not a Demi expert by any means. I use it very sparingly. But what I have found, and like I said, I show you guys the easiest things that I have found works for me. The spot brush to me is the easiest way to apply Demi. So this one, and also honestly, this, if you have a lot of acne and you're using a normal concealer or you're using something in your palette, this is a really good brush because you have this tiny, see how small that is, like a little artist brush? So you can pinpoint those areas and you're not putting makeup on a large surface. You're just pinpointing, like, I want to get rid of a vein, so I'm just going to put it there, or acne. And then you can turn it over and tap it out with this side. So this brush to me is one of my absolute favorites. I believe it's on sale as well right now. And I love this one. This one's always with me. Okay, let's quickly talk, because I don't want to keep you guys on here. Brushes aren't like the most exciting thing, but I also think brushes are just an educational piece in general, like that people need to know about. So, okay. I want to show you another brush that I like. So I've talked about Seint brushes. Now I'm going to show you BK Beauty brushes. I'm going to show you one more Seint brush. This one right here. This is our line brush. So this one is one of my favorite tools that Seint has. And the reason is it serves a lot of different purposes. I love things that serve a lot of different purposes. So this has a spoolie end on it. And so if you need to brush your brows up or you want to use like a brow wax, this is going to be an amazing tool. Okay, so it's that is phenomenal in itself, but this side is really awesome. So you can see that you have that angled side. You can use this as a liner with eyeshadow, or you can use this to fill in your brows. So this brush has so many uses. I love this one so much. This is the line brush from Seint. Okay. Let's talk about BK Beauty brushes, the ones I love, and I am going to be linking all of these. So I'm going to put them in my Like to Know It store today. I just haven't done it yet, but I will put them on my stories as well today so you guys can go take a look and kind of see a slower down version of what I'm talking about. Okay. How many of you guys have mature under eyes and you have a really hard time with getting a brush under there or getting the right coverage? Because I know I have that problem. And anybody that has a little bit of texture under their eyes or anyone that has hit their 40s can probably relate to what I'm saying, because we have that texture under our eyes. We have a little bit more fine lines and wrinkles. We have the hollows of our eyes, and it's really hard to get a brush, even a brush like my favorite one. It's sometimes really hard to get that under there because this is a rounded tip, right? So I want to show you my favorite concealer brush, and it works with creams, it works with liquid, it works with normal concealer, okay? This is, if I could recommend any under eye brush, it's this one. This concealer brush, when I found this one, I about died because it is phenomenal. So do you, first of all, see that angle right there? So you can get right up under that eye perfectly. Yes, Kim, I love this one so much. So the other thing I love about this, it is so soft. It is so soft. And that is one thing you want to look for when you're going under the eye. You don't want a really stiff brush under the eye, because why? The skin is really movable. The skin is really set, like fine, and we just don't want to be going under there and swiping and just making a mess with ourselves. So this is so soft, and you can see how it just fits right under my eye. It's at an angle, so I use it to clean up my eyeshadow all the time. This one is my absolute favorite. I think it's like $16, maybe $18, but well worth the money, and I cannot rave about this one enough, okay? So dealing with under eyes, if you have an issue with that one, this is so great. I use it to color correct, I use it to conceal, and I use it to brighten under my eyes. So this one, phenomenal. Okay, let's talk hooded eyes or just eyeshadow in general, okay? So Seint has a really good brush called the Multitasker brush. It's a mess, I'm sorry. But this one's really great. You want to start with an eyeshadow brush that is a flat brush. So something like this. See how it's like flat? This one's also a good one. Like I said, they're just my brushes that need to be cleaned. What is the number? Oh, on the concealer brush is the A506, and I will link all these, I promise. So when you are thinking about your eyeshadow, and if you are more mature, this is gonna be specifically if you have more mature eyes, okay? Because I know that as my eyes have changed, getting a really good eyeshadow look, I will watch girls who are in their 20s and 30s, and I'll be like, oh gosh, I wish I could apply my eyeshadow like that, because the way that they're applying their eyeshadow, they don't have the texture on the lids as we do. So you want to find brushes that are going to work with your eyes. So a lot of us get a lot of texture right here. Some of us have a hooded eye that's coming down like this. We don't have the lid space. So that's what I want to kind of talk about the things that you need in your arsenal to get a good look. Because you can still get the look that you're seeing like 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds do. We just have to go about it a little different, okay? So finding something like this, that's a flat brush. This is the BK Beauty A505 brush, or this is the Seint multitasker brush, and it has this tiny tip on the other side. Or if you have a lot of texture on your eyelets, and I mean a lot. So for this one, like when you are using a flat brush, pulling down against that grain, not because that's going with the texture on our lid. Sorry for my leg. I'm using like sound effects, but if we're pushing like this against that lid grain, I mean, you're gonna get skipping. So you wanna have a flat brush in order to pull down or pat onto the lids. Now, if you have a lot of texture though, this one right here is actually my favorite. The reason being it's flat, it's angled, but it's soft. So you're not going in and having a hard kind of surface like this. This is gonna be a lot more stiff. This one actually helps you can see this, you can get right into that crease, but you can also pull down or pat to get a really nice smooth look. So this is the 205 from BK Beauty. I love this one too. I really like that it has an angle because I can get right into that curve of the eye. So you want to find something that's flat. That's the first one. Okay, the next tool, if you have hooded eyes, so if your hood comes down over the lid, or if you have very textured eyes or lids and you want to get a really good look, I've talked about this one all the time. This is the BK Beauty A504 brush. Okay, look at this. Look at the difference in size. So if you have hooded eyes and you've tried to use a really big tool like this and you get in there, it's not gonna work. You're gonna have skipping. You're not gonna have that nice, beautiful blended out look. Using something a little bit smaller where you can get right into that kind of crease, or if you don't have a crease, let's say you have a hood, going in with something like this, if this is my hood, look at this, I can't get in there, but I can, and I can get right on top of the hood with something a little smaller. So this one is like my go-to, my holy grail of like eyeshadow brushes. When I'm working on makeup on a customer or a client, this one is usually one that I pull with because I can get really into that outer corner. I can get into my crease no matter what the eye size is. Okay, and then let's see, having kind of like a smaller, did I grab it? I like this one, but it's the exact same. So if you want a cheaper version and you don't want like a brush like this is the Morphe brush, and it just has a pencil end. So you definitely want something with a pencil end. Have you guys ever seen someone go like this with a fluffy brush and like pull eyeshadow underneath their eye? Okay, have you ever tried that? Because if you have textured eyes or you have aging eyes and you do that, you're gonna have the biggest mess ever. So using something like this or a pencil end to go under that eye is going to help you so much. So having a pencil type eyeshadow brush is another thing that you want to add to your arsenal. Someone just asked a question, do you need both for hooded eyes? Like a blend brush and a smaller blend brush, is that what you're asking? I actually will show you another one I like. I think I have it, it's like in a box, you guys. I am so disorganized sometimes, let's see. This one right here. This one right here. So I would suggest different sizes of fluffiness if you're going to get really technical with eyeshadow. So I like one like this. See how they're just a little different in size, but it's not huge. If you have larger eyes, definitely go up a size and get a bigger, fluffier end. But if you have hooded eyes, I wouldn't go much bigger than this. This is the 211. So you can see that I can still get in there and I can really work with that surface of the area that I have. So it depends on your hood, it depends on the size of your eye, and it depends on the texture. Hopefully that answered your question. Okay, and then lastly, what was the other one I wanted to show you guys? Oh, this one. This is, you want a smudge brush. So you can use like, sorry, I'm trying to look to see if I can find my other one, but I don't see it. You can use a smudge brush, or like that pencil end I just showed you, or even something like this. This one's a little bit smaller. This one is the 210. Now, BK Beauty actually has a hooded eye set, and I love all of those. Some of the ones that I'm mentioning is in that. So you can just go ahead and grab that set and you have everything. But look how small that is. So I can really get in that under my eye. So you never want to put too much under that eye, right? And that's what happens if we use too big of a tool. So let's say I have really small eyes, I go in with too big of a tool, I'm gonna have a mess. So even like something like this just gets right on that outer corner. And so using tools, that's what I really wanted to get out of this today. Hopefully you got something out of this. But using tools that are going to help you fit your face, that's huge. You can listen to people all day and you can do what they're doing, but if you have a different shaped face, or you want a different coverage, or your eyes are a different shape, and you're using tools that someone else is using but has a different kind of look, it's not going to be exactly what you're imagining when you're doing that. Where can you get BK Beauty brushes? So I actually have a link on my profile for BK Beauty. You can go there, but like I said, I'm going to link all of these on my Like to Know It, and I will have all of these there and make it super easy. So all you have to do is click there and you can click the individual brushes. So I will get that up today, promise. But I hope you guys, I want to show you one more thing. If you don't have this in your arsenal, this is like one of the best things you need, especially if you have mature skin, and that is a beauty blender or our perfector sponge. So if you don't have one of these, this is like all time you need. This is going to help you if you have textured skin, or if we have fine lines, we have wrinkles, and we feel like our makeup is setting kind of in those areas. This guy is amazing, and I like this better than any beauty blender I have tried. It's very soft compared to other beauty blenders. This is the Seint Perfector Sponge. Now, the other thing really quick, and I promise I wasn't gonna keep you guys forever, but you wanna make sure that you put this underwater for about 10 seconds, and you're gonna go like this, kind of like squeeze it and get all the water in there, and then you're gonna take like a damp cloth and you're going to just get all that extra water off. You don't want it too damp. You want it very lightly. I mean like barely anything at all, but it will double in size. So you don't wanna use this until you've doubled it in size. This is great for putting on powder. So if you've seen like, you wanna kind of like really accentuate your contour, you can take this with powder and put that under your contour. You can use this to take off any excess makeup. You can use this side to really get under the eye if you feel like you get a lot of creasing. This perfector sponge is like gold, so you need this in your arsenal if you don't have one. Now, if you are on a budget and you want to get something a little bit cheaper, Ulta, they all have, there's different levels of a beauty blender or a perfector sponge. You just have to kind of find one that fits your budget. Do I think they all work the same? No. Be really honest with you, I don't think they all work the same. So if you have one and it's not doing the job, it's worth investing in one that's maybe a little bit more expensive. Also, you can clean this with just a little soap and water. And I would suggest doing that as well, just like you would a brush. So, all right, my friends, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I will post this. If you're interested in getting a free color match, you can just go ahead and post and just say me when I actually put this on my page. And if you are not following me and you're interested in learning more makeup tips for over 40-year-old skin, I try to keep it really easy, and I try to give you guys easy tips that are manageable. Let's see. When do you use the blender? I use the blender at the very end of my makeup. So I use that to take off any extra makeup, any excess makeup, and then also, like I said, if you want to kind of like put powder here to give you a little bit more of a lift with your contour, I will use it for that too. Anyways, all right, you guys. Hi, Woody. All right. Hi, Rainy. All right, you guys, you are amazing. I hope you have a great New Year's. I can't believe that the 2022 year is almost over. It's crazy. It's gone really fast. It's been an amazing year. I hope all of us have the best 2023. And if you have any questions, go ahead and put it on this post after I put it on my feed. Okay, bye guys.